But you heard it from Pep. The quadruple is still very much on and alive for Manchester City. But Micah, seriously, how much can one result, one turnaround, change the complexion here? Could one victory here, when it looked like City might be beaten, catapult them into favouritism for the title?
I won't say favouritism. I think they've got experience within it. I told you before we started today, against Spurs in the first half, excellent. Against Newcastle, I saw signs of them being able to come up with this sort of performance. And that's why I said it. City's fixtures looks quite favourable, I would say. City could go on a run for 10 games. That's how good
let's have a look at this. Could they win all of these?
They could do, because they've done it before. Of evidence we've seen in the past. I don't think they're the team of the past, but what they've showed today against Liverpool at Anfield, especially when you go one down, have you got the character to come back in the game? And that's exactly what they did, and that's why I went strong. Watching them, everyone, we talk about stats, and we love stats. You boys especially love the stats. But when I'm watching them, the combination, especially that's what I was talking about, Mamouche and Semenyo as wide forwards, it was exciting. They're playing good football, and that's why I thought they could do something today.
Why are you laughing at him?
I'm enjoying it. Full of energy, isn't it? But it was.
But as much as it changes things for Manchester City, surely also if you're in the Arsenal dressing room right now, it completely changes the thought process for them as well. In games that you might thought, oh, we're relaxed now, we won 4 on the bounce, suddenly looking a bit harder, like Brentford on Thursday.
They can't let anything on the outside. They're in the driver's seat. They're in control of their destiny. That's what you want as a football player. You want to be able to feel like as long as we keep doing what we need to do, we're going to win the title. So I don't care if you win. You can win as many games as you want. As long as I do my job, that's all that matters. And I think that's the perspective that Arsenal have to have. Yes, cool, we understand from the outside. We're seeing that it might add a bit more tension, a bit more drama, a bit more jeopardy. But from their perspective, they have to be thinking it's another day at the office. We've got to go out here, we've got to do a job and focus on ourselves.
I think when you look at those fixtures, they look favourable for Man City, but I'm sure when we put Arsenal's up, it'll be pretty much the same. And we're talking about Arsenal still having to go to City. I think the Carabao Cup final is a huge moment for both teams. And I think if Manchester City won that, psychological, because then a lot of talk would be, oh, Arsenal can't get over the line again, another trophy. Even if if City could cut that by a point or two round about then and could beat them in the Carabao Cup final, I think psychologically that would be huge for Manchester City in that run. And I think Arsenal are the best team. I think they've got the best squad. I still believe they'll go on and win the league. But I'm just thinking where City can get a little chink at them. And for me, I think it's almost better for Man City that they're playing Arsenal than Chelsea in the final. Just for that reason, psychologically.
March the 22nd is the Carabao Cup final with us, and then April 18th, 19th, that weekend for Manchester City against Arsenal. Is it a question for City then of just trying to get on Arsenal's coattails before that game comes around?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I think the one we've been critical of the City team over the last 18 months or so, but if you're in Arsenal's camp, yeah, you're comfortable where you are and the points total and they're playing, and again, a lot of goals over the last week or so, the clean sheets, etc. But you don't want to be looking over shoulder at Pep because they've got a history of hunting you down. That's the only. I still agree. I still believe Arsenal will win the league. But when you look over his shoulder, and today, when you see him, the Arsenal players would be at home. A lot of them would be watching the game, and the staff, and you see they're 1-0 down. City, you'd be going, there'll be an element of that. And you think, well, they might get a draw, and then to go on and win it. And Pep. I don't know, sometimes we do kind of write Pep off. We do go, has he still got that hunger, this City? Is it a rebuilding job? And he just mentioned they're still in contention to win a few trophies here, and they will try and hunt that Arsenal team down.
Could it be a leaving gift, Micah? You said the club has a bright future?
Well, yeah, with him in it, I think. We hope, because it's been superb, hasn't it, Dave?
It certainly has.
One of those where you have to write it down to actually kind of make sense of what happened in that last 45 minutes. First of all, Steve, I'll start with you. Your emotions in that game, your broadcastable emotions in that game. I heard you shouting at the moon.
Well, right now I'm angry, to be honest. And the two things that I'm angry about are, number one, how Guehi's not sent off when he pulls Mo Salah back. It's a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Diaz absolutely isn't going to get round on the cover. So that's really angering me. The other thing that's really getting up my nose is why Liverpool, when they go 1-up, do they go and sit on the edge of the box? Because other than Haaland having a chance after 2 minutes, they hadn't hurt Liverpool. And so when you've got the momentum, you get the goal, you've had the momentum since the second half started. Why are you retreating to the edge of your box? You know, I get it. If you want to draw the line in the halfway line and let them have the ball, then that's fine. But don't stand on the edge of the box, because you're asking for trouble. You're asking for a mistake from one of your own players or a ball to go their way. And in the end, it's just a simple header back into the box. And Silva, credit, Bernardo Silva runs onto it and puts the ball in the back of the net, and all of a sudden it's 1-1. So those are the two things right now that are really annoying me.
Stevie obviously has his Liverpool rose-tinted glasses on there, and understandably so. Over in Manchester, Rob, it's hardly going to be a bus tour, but there'll be celebrations in the blue half of the city tonight with a game which just had it was going one way and then the other. It was a roller coaster effect, wasn't it, for the City fans?
Yeah, and I do think it's a massive result for City. I think that there'd almost become something psychological about City going to Anfield. They just weren't able to perform there properly, and haven't over the years, even with Pep Guardiola in charge, they haven't really been able to win there. I think Guardiola's got one league win there since he arrived. It tells you how tough a place they've found Anfield, and to go there, to be 1-0 down with 6 minutes to go, to come away with a 2-1 win, obviously in itself is a massive result, but also what it does to the title race. Because I think if Arsenal had been 9 points clear tonight, I think even Pep Guardiola would have felt that maybe that was over. But now you're on the back of a massive morale-boosting win. You're back to within 6 points of Arsenal. You'll have Arsenal players, Arsenal fans. Mikel Arteta probably watching on the sofa thinking that, you know, we're almost there halfway through that game, and now all of a sudden it's only 6 points. I do think this may if City are going to go on to win it from here this weekend, and that result may turn out to be a massive result for City.
Obviously, historically, Rob, this is going to go down as the City win, and it's going to be a massive turning point in this season. City now play on Wednesday night. Arsenal have to wait 24 hours, so they can actually have a 3-point lead, or cut it down to a 3-point lead later in the week. So that's how immense, overall, in conclusion, this result is tonight.
It is, and you see these momentum shifts in title races, especially around this time of year, sort of January and February, where there are weekends where one team will play first and the other team has to follow. We've seen it, you know, quite recently with Arsenal dropping points against Man United, and then City going and dropping points as well, and what that does to the morale and the momentum for the other team. I just think that this weekend, and you're right to point out the timing of the games this week, because, you know, with 5 minutes to go today, City were 9 points adrift of Arsenal at the top. Now suddenly it's 6. On Wednesday, if City can beat Fulham at the Etihad on Wednesday, it's going to be 3 points. And then Arsenal have got to be the ones to follow up and try and win their game on Thursday night. I mean, these little things, these little quirks of the fixture list around this time of year in the title race do strange things to teams. And, you know, again, I don't think... Obviously, Arsenal are still the favourites. It's, you know, you'd much rather be 6 points clear than 6 points behind. But results like this, going to Anfield, winning 2-1 in the way that they have, the manner that they've done, it does shift the momentum a little bit. And it will be very, very interesting if City can close that gap to 3 points on Wednesday night to see what Arsenal can do on Thursday.
Steve, let's go back through the game. First of all, the team selection today. I think Pep changed half the outfield, didn't he? Whereas Liverpool stuck with the same team. I guess that tells you where the two managers are at the moment, because Liverpool don't have a lot in reserve. Maybe only Curtis Jones to come on and change things from the bench, whereas City did mix things up. We are happy with the way he approached the game today, Arne Slot, Steve.
Not really. No, I don't have any qualms about the side that he picked. But, you know, I think to play the first 45 minutes basically standing on the edge of your own penalty box at Anfield, it's not something Liverpool fans or former players are used to. I mean, again, as I said about the actual equaliser they lost, if you're going to sit on the edge of your box and defend, you can't afford a mistake. You cannot afford to give an inch. And in the first half, they kind of got away with it, and that's just pretty clear. In terms of what they offered, was absolutely zero. Couldn't keep the ball. City completely and utterly and totally dominated the game, but they going forward were blunt. And let's be honest, they were blunt most of the game. You know, other than the Bernardo goal, it's not a City goal, whipping the ball in the box and a header down for a run from Bernardo. And the second goal, again, is self-inflicted. Alisson just makes a rash decision, comes flying out, and it's a penalty kick. But it doesn't really have much to do with what City were doing. So, in terms of Liverpool, the first half is a complete and utter, please wash it away.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing good to say about the performance other than the fact that they got away with going in at half-time 0-0. Second half.
Do you think that was intentional, though, from Arneslot? Do you think that he decided we'll sit back and we'll condense and we'll absorb everything? Or was it the fact that he was maybe being outmaneuvered by Pep and Pep had decided they were going to go on there and they were going to attack Liverpool from the start?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear that they were going to sit. My problem isn't that. Listen, if you want to do that and play on the counter, because City defensively, they're vulnerable, you can get at them. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But I think there's a difference between sitting on the edge of your box and sitting just inside your own half or the halfway line, something like that. So I hated the way they went about it. Absolutely hated it.
Rob, notable change in the second half, wasn't it? Because Liverpool remarkably started to take the game to City. And suddenly City had all the possession, bossing the game, rocking on the back foot again.
Yeah, and it's something that's happened to City quite a lot recently, that they've started games well, they've played well in the first half, and then for some reason after half-time, they just haven't been able to replicate that same level of performance. And we've asked Pep Guardiola a couple of times about that, whether is it a physical thing, is it concentration? And even he has sort of said that he doesn't really know. And you saw exactly what happened at Spurs last Sunday. City were dominant in the first half and then go and concede 2 goals in the second half and draw 2-2. And it was almost the same story again today, that City were probably the better team in the first half. I thought the way that Liverpool came out in the second half, they were by far the better team. They probably had the best chance of the entire game with that Ekitike header from Salah's cross, which he should score. But I completely agree with what Stevie said earlier, that Liverpool have gone ahead with a Szoboszlai free kick, a fantastic goal, but then straight away have then gone and sat on the edge of on their own area. And City then have had a period of possession around Liverpool's box, a period of possession that they haven't had for the entire second half. They've only been allowed to do that because Liverpool have gone ahead and sunk right to the edge of their own box. And really what you should have been doing is trying to push City as far away from Liverpool's goal as possible. Just carry on and play the same way. Liverpool were on the front foot anyway. They've taken a lead. They should be full of confidence. Go and get a second goal and kill the game. And instead they've sunk back to the edge of their own penalty area. They've let City have that passage of possession where they are quite good at having little players finding pockets like Bernardo Silva and Cherki, who was on at that stage. That's what those players want to be able to do. They don't want to be dinking it around on the halfway line. They want to be around the penalty area. And both of those goals have come from similar passages of play. You've got the ball into Haaland and the header down, and Bernardo does wonderfully well to get on the end of it and anticipate it better than anyone else and then score. And it's a similar kind of move for the penalty where the ball gets flicked over to Núñez. Again, I agree with Steve. I've got no idea what Alisson is doing rushing out at that point. There's not really any danger of Núñez scoring from that point in the box. Really, he wants to just stay between his sticks and let the ball come across and hope his defenders can deal with it. He's made a complete mess of it. But both of those goals have come from Liverpool sitting far too far back. When they had the game in their hands at 1-0, they could have gone on and scored a second goal. City looked dead and buried at 1-0, I thought. But they've allowed City back into the game.
Sorry, Rob. I think Pep's got lucky as well. I don't understand the Semenyo positioning at all. As looking at the game, I'm so delighted that Semenyo was in the middle. Half the time he's got his back to goal. And I've got Kerkez, who so far this season, defensively one-on-one, looks as though he's going to have a panic attack every time somebody has a go at him. But yet Semenyo, instead of getting after him, is in the middle of the park. So I think Pep's got away with it. He's won the game, so you can't argue. If you win the game, then people say, well, your tactics are right. But I think he got away with it. I think he's trying to be clever with Semenyo. And I think today, absolutely, did Liverpool a favour in terms of not having Semenyo wide. On either side, by the way. Whether it was Szoboszlai or whether it was Kerkez on the left. I think he did Liverpool a favour sticking Semenyo in the middle.
Talking points, and I know your answer to this, Stephen, and again, keep it clean here. The Salah incident, when he went through, was brought down outside the area. I think we will agree that it wasn't a penalty, but I think most people would suspect that it maybe should have been a red card for Gay.
Well, it really isn't difficult. You know, the criteria is pretty straight. You know, there's nothing complicated about, did you stop a goal scoring opportunity? End of story. It's either a yes or it's a no. And how you can say that Gay pulling down Salah doesn't stop a goal scoring opportunity is beyond me. Ruben Diaz is never getting there in a million years. Salah is going to be one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I don't understand how you can possibly mistake that and not give a red card. It's absolutely unforgivable.
Rob, have you got a counter argument for that? I mean, you know, the thing is it's opportunity. It's not to say he's going to score the goal. He's against one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but it's an opportunity to score. And that is the letter of the law. We'll talk about the later red card and the other big talking point at the end of the game. But if the referee was sticking to the letter of the law, should Gay have gone?
Well, I think there are a couple of things there. I don't think that Salah's reaching the ball after his first touch. I thought that he went down quite easily. I thought Diaz, I agree with Steve.
Is that a foul?
No, is
that a foul?
It is a foul, but he's touching away from him. And
here you go.
I think that Diaz is if you look at it from the referee's point of view, Diaz is in a decent covering position, and I don't know if he's getting there or not. Diaz probably doesn't even know. So I think Gay's lucky, but I can understand why he was allowed to stay on the field.
And then again, I mean, okay, Liverpool score 5 minutes later. Steve, how do you describe that free kick? They kind of went. They had two players there. It wasn't exactly a wall, was it? And then when you watch it back again, you see Diaz actually helps by pulling. I think it's Gakpo that you can see that pulls him out of the way, and that's the gap that he goes for. And that fizzed through there. It was like an exploding balloon at a children's party. You just couldn't read where it's going to go.
Well, in terms of how you set the wall up, you know, if in hindsight, dead easy after the fact, you know, probably if it happens in a similar position, I would think Donnarumma would stick a wall up or a proper wall. At the same time, I mean, you could stick all 10 outfield players on that wall, but the way it hit it, the way it went away from the keeper, you can't save that. I mean, you can't. It's the same as the Arsenal one at the start of the season. You know, there are certain things that you can do defensively to stop something. But in terms of the strike, I think it's tough to blame the keeper for the way he set his wall up or how they went about it. He decided he wanted to see the ball. And again, if you take 10 of those, the way it is, probably the goalkeeper will save 9 of them. But unfortunately for him, it's always like, has hit it so sweetly, cut across it, the ball starts up the middle, it's going at 1,000 miles an hour and it's drifting away to the side. I mean, you can't save that.